Would you see a slight change in the role of the LBMA when it comes to how it operates under the new regime for determining silver fix and surely gold fix to follow?
Well, the LBMA never had a role in the fixing. It was always a London Gold Fixing Corporation, where, let's say, 3, respective 5 members for gold were a member also in the London Gold Fixing Corporation. So that will stay the same. Okay. And the LBMA has always only published the fixing price as a conduit, as a go-between, but it was never involved in this circle in the first place. The LBMA, I would say, is the overall umbrella who is the partner for the regulator, for the Bank of England, and for all, also for Her Majesty's Revenue and Custom, who basically entrusts the LBMA with, together with the HMRC, defining the role of the customs and the black box, the VAT-free trading within the London black box.
Okay. DK, quickly moving over to commodity exchanges in India. Your company is amongst the leading commodity brokers in this country. And I guess the sort of experience you have in trading on the bullion commodity exchanges as distinct from agro, what are the issues that come up in terms of the mechanism of trading, the nature of contracts that are being put up? What, in your opinion, do you think exchanges should do so as to make exchange trading more and more popular?
See, exchange trading is all about technology. And I can tell you the technology which we have in MCX, or for that matter any other exchange in India, is even not 10% of what the technology is available worldwide. Even in India, even one of the exchanges has got one of the best technology. So I think a lot of spend has to be made in technology. The other thing is that we have only futures. There are many more instruments which are of risk management, like options. We do not have options, and unless we have options, you want to protect your downside, but you don't want to lose the opportunity of making money. By future, you lock your downside, but you also lose your opportunity. So options are needed very much. Having said this, I'll say that in MCX, commodity future, and particularly when you talk of gold future, in fact, MCX is today, if you name MCX, the one thing which comes to your mind is gold futures. In fact, the price of gold at MCX has become a benchmark for most of the jewelers. Even for people who are making coins, they benchmark their price based on the MCX price. So, yes, we have lost the opportunity. In last 2 years, whatever has happened, the NASL fiasco, the CTT increase, which has increased the costing, the impact cost of doing transactions. Even the stamp duty has been increased in some states. That has also increased the cost of transaction. Then the rule of 80-20, the import duty increase in gold, I think they have affected badly, and I think we have moved backward by at least 5 years. Mm-hmm. There was an opportunity of becoming a price setter as against the price taker. But I think other countries like China, somebody told that the Shanghai Gold Exchange has launched their international board, where they are offering the spot trading to 40 international participants. And they know, because they are now the largest producer, largest consumer of gold. They want to take this opportunity. There is a hidden agenda also, that they want yuan to be made. I mean, these contracts of gold, which is to be traded in these international spot exchange of Shanghai, would be yuan denominated. So they want to make yuan as a reserve currency, though it is the second largest economy of the world, but it doesn't find place in the 6th reserve currency. So that is another agenda which they are looking at. But the biggest agenda is, since they are the biggest producer and biggest consumer also, as of now. So why not they should set the price? We had this opportunity, but we missed it. Having said this, again I'll say, India is still the largest, Indians are the largest holder of gold. We hold close to 1 trillion worth of value of gold. And it makes all the sense. There is India has the metal of becoming the price setter, but the policy enabling environment has to be done. We need to introduce options. We need to allow FIIs, mutual funds, banks to participate in our market.
I think, Mr. Agarwal, that will happen once you have confidence that you have the best technology in your exchanges. And I beg to differ that I feel exchanges in India, be it equity or commodity exchanges, they have excellent technology, because if you compare with American markets, there you find so many blunders, so many trade going freak and all those things.
I am not talking of the risk management. We have the most robust risk management, online surveillance, which is not available in many countries. We have the best, one of the best regulation. What I'm talking of is the platform. If I want to do high frequency trading, I'm sorry, I cannot do it at MCX. I cannot do it at other commodity exchanges. Of course, our equity exchanges are having that kind of technology. So when I talk of technology, it is the trading platform.
First thing about risk management and surveillance, you are comfortable.
Yes.
That is the first step. Secondly, you will get the speed also. But let me get in Mr. Jalan in. Jalan साहब, exchanges का role क्या है? Investing और hedging करवाना, right? पहले 2 रोज में जो लोग बैठे उन्हें छोड़ दीजिए, पीछे जितने जूलर्स हैं, जिनके फोरफादर्स ने 50-75 साल में बड़ी मुश्किल से ज्वेलरी शॉप स्टार्ट करके एक बिजनेस बनाया है. नाउ देयर नेक्स्ट जनरेशंस, दे आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन दैट बिजनेस. दे आर जस्ट इंटरेस्टेड इन प्लेइंग ऑन द एक्सचेंजेस. जो भाव फर्क है, सोने चांदी में रोज ऊपर नीचे होता है, उनको लगता है हमारे फादर्स वैसे टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, हम इतना जल्दी यहाँ पैसा बना लेंगे. और इस प्रोसेस में पिछले 5-7 सालों में जो वैल्यू इरोजन पूरी जेम्स ज्वेलरी फ्रेटर्निटी का हुआ है, क्या कहेंगे आप? एक कैसे बदलेंगे? एक्सचेंज होने के नाते आपकी भी रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि इस इमेज को बदला जाए, इस ट्रेंड को बदला जाए.
First of all, I would thank IBJA to give us the opportunity to represent here. And you're absolutely right. Actually, just to give you a perspective, exchanges in India are just a decade old. So it's like 2003, 2004, the government gave permissions to exchanges, both MCX and CDX. And everything evolves over a period of time. To answer your question directly, that yes, there is a perception that exchanges के ऊपर ज़्यादातर सट्टा होता है. Exchanges के ऊपर जो young generation है, वो आज की तारीख में सट्टा करती है. उसको शायद कॉपर के बारे में पूरी जानकारी भी नहीं होगी, लेकिन वो दिन में 1000 टन कॉपर ट्रेड कर देता है, बाय और सेल कर देता है. But what has to be also put in perspective is that it is not now, though more of this allegation happens to be for my competitor MCX, but let me defend even that also. What happens is that I used to work for a company called Meta Copper and Alloys, which was, I used to hedge on LME. Previously, I used to hedge on LME 2,500 tons a month. And I shifted my hedging to MCX in those days. It was very, very difficult. Even one lot used to go in, say, 5 minutes. But over a period of 2 years, when we shifted, we saw that, we were almost able to sell 100 tons in a matter of minutes. So what happens is, if we just compare the situation where previously what was the option with a jeweler or for a gold importer, he had to go to COMEX, he has to go and hedge himself there. Today, for some reason or the other, the government is not comfortable giving dollars for hedging overseas, giving, people...
Can I just, forgive me, interrupt you. What if the government said, you are free to trade on COMEX? DK, would you close your MCX and NCDEX and switch to COMEX? Straight question.
फ्रेंकली आपने जो पूछा है बिल्कुल सटीक बात है. काफ़ी कुछ ट्रेडिंग कॉमेक्स प्लेटफॉर्म पे शिफ्ट हो जाएगी. इसमें कोई डाउट नहीं है.
आपकी ब्रोकरेज तो वहाँ भी बनने वाली, यहाँ भी बनने वाली, कहीं भी ट्रेड कीजिए.
बट मैं एक बात ऐड करना चाहूँगा. अभी जो बात हो रही थी, अगर हम 1000 टन का मार्केट अगर हम गोल्ड का इंडिया का एनुअल मान लेते हैं, it comes to around 3 lakh crore rupees. Given a volatility of 10% in gold, annualized volatility of 10%, the risk which our industry is facing is around 30,000 crore. It is not a small amount. This platform, MCX gold platform, or for that matter even gold hedge, because अगर आपको hedge करने हैं, आपको अगर मान लीजिए आपको माइनस करना है, कोई प्लेटफॉर्म नहीं है जिसमें कि आप माइनस कर सके बगैर डिलीवरी के. इट इज़ ओनली फ्यूचर्स वेयर यू कैन सेल, यू डोंट नीड डिलीवरी, यू कैन कैरी इट फॉरवर्ड एंड यू कैन हैज योर पोजीशन. 30,000 crore is the risk which the industry faces, and more than 5 lakh jewelers, importers, exporters of jewelry, other stakeholders are using this platform very significantly. So I think it is a good platform, and it is not कि MCX पे, because MCX या NCDX ये जैसे इन्होंने कहा कि it is a evolving exchanges, और going forward जैसे मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि अगर policy environment सही मिलता है, अगर FIs को, म्यूचुअल फंड्स को, बैंक्स को अगर अलाउ करते हैं, ऑप्शंस के इंस्ट्रूमेंट आते हैं, फ्रीडम दी जाती है, टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए FDI आता है, आई थिंक India has that metal of being the price setter in the world gold prices.
So, Jerry, what's your view?
Can I just make a last comment, please?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. To answer your question, if we see NCDX for a moment, NCDX today delivers 1 lakh tons of food grains, of pulses, of various, various agri items in a month. That translates to almost 400 crores of rupees. So exchanges is not only place where a speculator is there. So if you talk about NCDX, we touch almost 6 million lives as far as the agri. Today it is a very, very difficult thing for a farmer to come and understand what is the price I will get, what crop should I sow today so that I can, reap my benefits tomorrow. So what is the future trend? So what is very important is that it is not only a set of customers, and yes, a lot of work needs to be done in the gold space also, and as a responsible exchange, we've just started it, and we will do.
You're just reinforcing the belief and the conviction that exchanges are price discovery platforms. Exchanges all over the world have never been designed for physical. The concept of an exchange is price discovery and risk management. The conversion of a contract into a deliverable is an absolute last resort. Am I correct?
Yeah, sir, you're absolutely right. But what happens is, the physical leg is very, very important. Today, all the LME contracts are deliverable. Today, the CME contracts are deliverable. So it is very, very important that today, so that the basic price cannot be manipulated. Otherwise, if you don't have a robust spot platform or delivery mechanism, the price can be rigged. And believe me, we handle so much agri commodities, we know how difficult it is.
I'm quite sure. We keep on reading in the newspaper about that. Jerry, back to you. Just your
want to quickly go on to the exchanges. And obviously, MCX, NCDX, important exchanges, but also obviously clearly for the Indian market. But overall, you just said it, if it would be free, COMEX, and I only mean the open outcry session only. I don't even talk about access as a system. Even in the open outcry session, a daily, yearly gold production gets traded, and the volume and the liquidity are bigger than on any other exchanges, including Shanghai, whatever, together on a daily basis. That shows basically the dominance of COMEX, And when we talk about price discovery, COMEX really is the price. Because even London, the professional market is trading, and the market maker prices are based on COMEX prices, on access through an EFP. Physical delivery doesn't come into it. If it has to be done, that's a very rare occasion.
Okay.
You have to have a 100-ounce bar. I think only Andrew Sabin does it. So it's not even planned deliverability. But the liquidity is a key word why COMEX is so successful. In the early years, when they started in January 75 till now, the liquidity has been provided by locals, by strong locals, who also took risk away from the bullion banks who insert risk into COMEX, and actually they became so strong that they forced bullion houses like the big bullion houses for cover. And that strength of the local market added to liquidity, now the hedge funds adding liquidity to the market. It is a market where at any given time I can easily sell 100,000 ounces within a minute. Not a question. And that's the only market where this is. I'm not discarding Shanghai. And I think recently, last week, we have all read the report that somebody said the Chinese government is looking to establish a gold hoard of 8,500 tons before they're going to declare it. The last time they upgraded the numbers, the data, was in 2009 from 450 to 1,100 tons. And I was chairing a central bank conference in London at the time, and everybody was so jubilant. And I said at the time, that was only from domestic production. And it was paid in renminbi if it was imported, so it didn't even do anything for the account balance.
Okay.
Yeah, so in future, and a question to the three analysts,
I just
researchers.
need to close this very quickly. These guys are going to kill me.
Just one very quick question. Just say last year, 1,200 tons plus 450 tons production in China. From the 1,200 tons, how much do you guys get private production and how much going to safe to the state forest?
Let's ask the forecasters. They're closing up.
An incredibly tricky question to close on. We've been looking at this closely. A lot of people in the market have been speculating about what the central bank, the PBOC, may or may not have done. And they've been looking at inflows into China and saying, well, Thomson Reuters, GFMS, World Gold Council say, it's this much, there's a surplus, where's it gone? We don't think it's a matter of just looking at the surplus and thinking, well, that's gone to the PBOC, that's gone to SAFE. It's actually more complex than that. So we've undertaken some detailed analysis over recent months, looking at the whole market in its entire complexity. And you can account for around about 85% of the total inflows into China have gone into jewelry consumption, bar and coin, technology. And over the past 5 years, the remaining 15% has gone elsewhere. And it's probably gone into three areas. The first is the increase in fabrication capacity within China. The retail outlets have absolutely boomed over recent years, so they'll have built up the level of inventories. Secondly, Chinese banks have really increased their balance sheet exposure. So this has been a trend over the past 5 years, but especially so last year. When the price fell, you saw a lot of Chinese banks, ICBC, Bank of China, adding gold to their balance sheet. And that kind of supports their business. You've got big fabrication industries, they need to get gold to lend it out. And then finally, we look at the official sector. Now, we're not going to go out and say it's the PBOC, because the PBOC already report their figures. But as you rightly point out, you've got SAFE, you've got CIC, and it's very opaque. There isn't clear data on it. Is it likely that they may have bought? Probably.
I need to really close this session because they're getting extremely upset. Thank you very much. Two quick questions in case there is any question from the audience. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up. Please, Mr. Kothari.
Can you pass
Someone
on the mic?
can give him a mic. Just two questions, please. Otherwise, they will toss me off the stage.
My question is for Haris Bhai. हरीश भाई, आपने दीवार पिक्चर भी अमिताभ बच्चन की देखी हुई है, उस टाइम से आप काम कर रहे हो। जनरली जैसे अभी WCC का रिपोर्ट में देखा कि 200 टन गोल्ड स्मगल इंडिया में हुआ है। क्या ये कौन सा फॉर्म में गोल्ड स्मगल हुआ होगा? और एक चीज़ है कि दुबई से और सिंगापुर से टोटल कितने पैसेंजर इंडिया में आते हैं? आई थिंक 50 फ्लाइट कम से कम इंडिया में आती है, मेनली इंटरनेशनल फ्लाइट मुंबई, त्रिवेंद्रम, कोचीन, बेंगलोर, इन तमिलनाडु, चेन्नई, कोयम्बतूर, मैनी सेक्टर, दिल्ली, जयपुर, अहमदाबाद, इंदौर, मुंबई, पूना। अब एक फ्लाइट के पैसेंजर आप अगर 300 पकड़ते तो एवरी डे के 15,000 पैसेंजर आते हैं।
पृथ्वीराज जी, क्या आप ये कहना चाहते हैं कि 200 टन कम है?
नहीं, मैं बता रहा हूँ फिगर। आप स्मगल इसको क्यों कह रहे हैं? मेरा क्वेश्चन यही है कि आइदर इट्स ए स्मगलिंग। अब एक पैसेंजर को इंडियन गवर्नमेंट, हाँ दुबई में प्राइस है 23,000 24,000 रुपया और हिंदुस्तान में प्राइस है 28,000 रुपया, 4 लाख रुपए का डिफरेंस है, 11-12% का। अब 15,000 पैसेंजर, 1 लाख रुपए का अगर 40 ग्राम सोना आता है तो रोज के 600 किलो होते हैं। ये इसको आप स्मगलिंग कहेंगे?
As per the regulation.
महीने के हो गए 18 टन और 12 महीने के हो गए 200 के ऊपर हो गए, और अब डेटा बता रहा है कि ये 200 टन स्मगल हो रहा। इज इट स्मगलिंग?
Technically, it is. If you consider, when we talk about the total goods which are smuggled in, so anything over and above the official, what you are, your allowance is technically a smuggling. Now, आप अगर जो नहीं पकड़े गए तो पकड़ता है तो उसने ये नहीं बोलता है कि आप
No,
absolutely amazing discussion. One second.
Yeah.
We have somebody
smuggling
from
we are
India.
difficulting the entire industries.
No, hold on a minute. Let me give you my take on this. We have somebody from India talking about smuggling, and we have somebody from Dubai defending it.
Absolutely.
Isn't this the other way around?
No, so
No.
It includes the figures includes that even the jewelry which is brought in, anything which is over and above amount. So that's the reason the figures always tend to get very obscure, whether it is GFMS or...
Harish ji, do you still keep an Indian passport?
No, I don't.
Okay. Thank you for being such a loyal Indian. One more question, please. Last question, anyone, but I can take only one.
Hello to the panel. This is sort of a more global question. If you look at Russia, it's been buying gold for almost a year, the central bank. So is there any data that shows how much of that gold is being used to bypass the sanctions relating to the dollar? So how much of is it being used to finance some other things? I mean, I've read reports about Iran doing that, Turkey doing that. So does the World Gold Council or any of the data providers look at data in that sense?
You're welcome to block it.
So I'm afraid that's not something that we have clarity on. As I've said at the outset, the gold market's incredibly complex. There are areas of opacity and there are data gaps, and this isn't something that we have
I
visibility
think we
on,
will bypass that one. Okay, last one, if anyone's interested. Just one, please. Mr. Saroya, please.
I would like to ask one question to this August gathering. Why is it that every time we talk about Dubai only? And do you mean to say, or are we presuming that any gold which is coming into India is coming only from Dubai?
Well, let's see
You see,
what...
as far as Dubai is concerned, I believe Dubai is a free port and anybody is able to take in and out whatever they want. But having said that, what Harish Bhai said just now about the 40 grams of every passenger bringing in, I don't think that is accounted for by the analyst. I think the analyst look at the total incoming of gold and the total outgoing which is reported. And then they, juxtapose the numbers and then they come up with the figures, but it does not mean that they are actually 100% correct.
Fine.
And I think we should think a little bit more global and see that maybe Singapore is a bigger player than Dubai today, or maybe Hong Kong is a bigger player, or maybe there is so many other destinations. So why only Dubai every time?
Fair enough. Thank you for your loyalty to Dubai. Thank you very much, everyone on the panel. I'm sorry, I'm simply out of time. We can't do any more. You want a one-to-one with Mr. Saroya? You're most welcome.
I would like to suggest to the commodity people,
Yes.
why don't they take up the Indian refineries goods delivered to the commodity
I'm
in
sure
India?
this is a subject matter for a detailed debate, and be quite happy if the IBJA wants a separate session on this, because we have many people here who've experienced what it means to be accredited, who've experienced the pain that one has to go through. And I just conclude by saying I wish it was so simple, but believe you me, it's not. But thank you very much.
It has to be rolled up.
It's been great doing this, and my apologies to you for going way beyond my time. Thank you.
No, it's perfectly fine. We may not have a large audience, but what we make up, what we lack in terms of numbers, we definitely make up in terms of quality, because we see all the big guns. And great, we've had a fabulous panel, we've had a wonderful audience out here, and a great panel discussion. We'd like to present mementos to all those who made it so memorable. So may I request Mr. Bipin Jain, Mr. Kapil Parekh, and Mr. Chetan Thadeshwar, all directors of IBJA, to kindly come up on stage and help us give out the mementos and tokens of appreciation to our panelists. Mr. Bipin Jain, Mr. Kapil Parekh, and Mr. Chetan Thadeshwar, could you please help us hand over the mementos to our panelists and moderator? To Mr. Rajesh Khosla. To Mr. Alistair Hewitt. Mr. Alistair Hewitt. Mr. Vivek Jalan. Mr. Vivek Jalan. Mr. Harish Pawani. Mr. Harmish Arora. Mr. D.K. Agarwal. Mr. Gerhard Schubert. Mr. Satish Nambiat. Mr. Chirag Sheth. And of course to our very erudite co-moderator, Mr. Anil Singhvi. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's been a very engrossing debate. Ladies and